some productive ways to spend time on a commute with limited to no internet connectivity. Okay, so I know this comes up for people, especially if they're in like a ride share or maybe they're on trains or just, you're somewhere where you don't have internet connectivity. Okay, so if that comes up, I say personally, to really try to maximize that. I know some people would say if you, you could maybe use your phone or tether or something like that. But I think that this is a great time to do those activities that a lot of us maybe have problems making time for, or that we don't do as much. And so the big one that obviously comes up is read. All right, if you don't have connectivity, you can have a paper book, you could have your Kindle, and that's a good opportunity for you to learn. And I think that not only, just learning from a book, but learning in different ways. So there's a course on Coursera. It's a free course, and I believe it was Stanford based, but it's a course on, or how to learn basically. So it's a course on learning about how to learn. And looking at that from the ways they teach is like you have these kind of two modes, right? You have these really focused modes where you're really into stuff. And then you have this kind of diffuse mode where, maybe we think of it more as like those times where you're kind of not spacing out, but you're just letting, your thoughts kind of go and things just come to you. Or you start bringing things together once you've really focused and you take a quick break and just let your mind kind of absorb it. And so I think that there's a couple good ways you can do that. You could use that time just to think about the day, think about things, observe the things around you. And then on top of that, maybe spend part of the time focusing on something, reading, learning, and then spend, a little bit of time just kind of let your brain kind of do its thing. So on top of that particular aspect, I think that there's something interesting. I think that it was in Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, and he talks about this idea of just being bored. And it might have just been an article he wrote, but I thought it was from the book. And it's really interesting, this idea that we could just be bored and it's a skill. And I think that's interesting to a lot of people. When I first read it, I was like, yeah, that seems kind of weird. But you start trying to practice this and go in somewhere while you're waiting in line for a coffee or something. Don't pull out your phone. Just try standing in line for 2 to 3 minutes. And you start noticing, one, that almost everybody's distracted. Use those times, say something, talk to the person next to you. If you don't want to, just kind of observe what's going on around you. And this really helps you kind of, for myself at least, and I think what I've seen in other people, helps you, avoid those moments where you feel like you're constantly doing something. I feel that that's what the phone does, where we're constantly looking at it and you always have something that's occupying your mind, which maybe in the end might not be a great thing. You want to have that kind of diffuse mode of learning where you're just, letting your brain do its thing and it's not focused in on something. So lastly, I'll give a personal recommendation for something you can do when you have limited or no internet connectivity is bring a postcard or bring a sheet of paper and write a letter to somebody. I mean, I don't know about you, I love getting mail. It's so rare that you actually get real mail, and it's so nice, and obviously personal that you get this. And so I think it would be a great addition to start writing. Maybe it's once a week you write a postcard to a friend or a family member. I mean, if you did that nowadays, you'd be considered like a prolific letter writer just once a week. And, really helps build and strengthen those relationships. So anyways, I hope that that's helpful. And I think that those are at least a good place to start for some things you can do if you're commuting and you don't have internet connectivity. Thanks for watching. You can stay up to date by subscribing right there. If you'd like to come join our free Facebook group about process, automation, productivity, all that good stuff, you can do that right there. Just answer the few quick questions and you'll be in.